All right, so let's talk about a stock that Steve and I don't own, and maybe this is the conversation that
I
gets
was
us
hoping it
going.
was going to be Bitcoin.
Steve, why don't you own Rocket Lab?
Not interested.
Why?
I don't see it.
What do you mean you don't see it? What don't
I
you
don't
see? Can you
see
be
it.
a little bit more specific for us? What don't you get about
I
Rocket
just
Lab?
don't see it.
Matt, that's gotta like make you so pissed off. That's just like he's not even giving a good reason. He just like doesn't
No,
like
I don't have a good reason. I just don't see it. It's run a lot. I don't think it's worth buying here. I hope it continues to go up for everybody that's in it. I don't see it.
Okay, so my nuance is I do see it. I am just confused on when to actually have an entry price, which is a little bit more of a sillier debate, but it's not like I don't see the vision. I'm confused, Steve, how you don't see the space TAM as gigantic given what's happening with Blue Origin, SpaceX, etc.
It's simple. I don't see it.
That doesn't make sense, dude. I can't just say, oh, well, Meta's growing advertising revenues, and you're like, yeah, I just don't see it. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, they're growing advertising revenues. How do you not see
Dude, you're talking about, what is this, Rocket Mortgage?
it? See, you're treating it like a joke, Steve. That's the disrespectful part.
It's not Rocket Companies?
See, this type of disrespect.
RK2.
Oh,
Matt,
Rocket Lab USA. There you
Matt,
go.
you got to hire some guys to
Look,
go wherever Steve's going on Saturday and teach him a lesson for this disrespect.
You're talking about a company that's doing $363 million in revenue on an annual basis and has a market cap of $12.5 billion. I mean, I don't know. Kind of crazy.
All right, Matt, your response?
Steve, do you believe in America?
Of course, greatest country in the world.
Do you believe in what SpaceX has done over the past 10 to 15 years?
They have advanced a lot of things.
Do you think that that's replicable?
I mean, it's certainly not a one thing fits all, but before you go down the path you're leading me down, keep in mind that unlike SpaceX, we can actually see the financials for Rocket Lab, and they're not great.
Not great yet. But what if I were to tell you that within the next month and a half, Rocket Lab will have had a lunar lander land on the moon that they help subcontract out for?
Great. How is that going to make them money?
What if I told you that they've launched in collaboration with SpaceX and NASA a satellite to go to or an asteroid between Mars and Jupiter?
Cool. How's that going to make them money?
What if I told you that they were going to have a comparable constellation like Starlink within the next 5 years?
Great. How's that going to make them money? You said 5 years. What's Starlink going to have in the next 5 years? Like, come on.
That's like saying that you can't grow another company because...
I am just saying that it is run up so much that a company that doesn't even generate cash from operations, a company that doesn't generate any profit or even a operating income, okay? The valuation is crazy. And it's not even like they're sitting on a ridiculous amount of cash on the books. They got $440 million on the books. They're gonna have to dilute shareholders in the next 2 years if something doesn't change. Am I wrong in that?
No, I don't think that they will have to dilute shareholders. They have more than enough running room, in my opinion. They're going to have a huge amount of R&D money actually being able to be going back into the business once they get their medium launch vehicle off the ground. To put in context, on an annual basis at the moment, their launch business is about $150 million a year, $100 to $150 million a year. They're coming out with a rocket that'll be launching middle of this year. That's going to be $55 million per launch, comparable to the Falcon 9. Now, in 5 to 10 years, the cadence of that will hopefully be, 15 or so, maybe 20 launches per annum. And so that ends up being a pretty substantial amount of cash flow coming down the pipeline.
I mean, you're speaking another language that I don't understand.
Also, Steve.
Talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Steve, hold on. Before Matt goes, the CEO literally said, sometimes after a tough day at work, I go home and I stroke my rocket.
And
How do you not invest in that? Like, visionary. All right, Matt, continue. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. No, I mean, you can't. If he doesn't want to be, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I mean, you either believe in it, you don't. I get it. The valuation, of course, is absurd, but
wait, is the valuation absurd, Matt? Like, what do you think about the valuation?
On a traditional basis, of course, it's absurd. But do I think it's? If you were to try to replicate this company with less than $20 billion, I think you would fail. The capital efficiency of the folks that are generating and executing over at Rocket Lab is second to none. I mean, luckily, Bezos, and you have to think, you have a guy that is competing with Bezos and a guy that is competing with Elon Musk, both billionaires. And this guy is not a billionaire. The only thing that made him a billionaire is the fact that he owns 11-12% of Rocket Lab, and it's now a $10 billion company. That's how he became a billionaire. Not hitting on him by any means. This was his egg, his golden goose, and he wrote it up for sure. But you have somebody that Jeff had billions of dollars from Amazon, and he was able to use that to start Blue Origin. You had Elon, who's not only raised capital throughout the entirety of the time, but also been using the money that he got from PayPal and Tesla to be able to create this business, to create his business. This guy literally bootstrapped his way. He's going to be able to create a medium launch vehicle that makes $55 million per launch for $300 to $350 million. Within 6 launches, he'll get the revenue back. Granted, it's not going to be profit, but it's going to be fully reusable
based on
day
that
one.
logic, how many launches are they going to be doing a year?
The first year, this year, it'll be 1 launch. Next year, it'll be 3. By 2027, it'll be 5. And I'm going to.
And you said they're going to make how much?
The top line will be 55 per launch.
Okay, so you're talking about a company that's going to make $380 million revenue from 6 launches in 2027.
27, but they also have a space systems business, solar panels, reaction wheels. They're creating satellites for the Space Development Agency. They're creating satellites for Apple, the Globalstar deal, where they're creating an Apple constellation.
I mean, look. So, Steve, is there any price where it gets excited? Like I don't know, $15? You think? Or
I'm willing to invest in a lot of stuff. I just don't see the vision with this. That doesn't mean it's not a good investment. It's just not a good investment for me where I can't see the vision in this. Like Palantir, I was able to see the vision and how they get to generating $1 billion in free cash flow and more. I don't see how Rocket Lab gets to generating $1 billion in free cash flow. I could be wrong.
I mean,
no, seriously, like how do they get to $1 billion in free cash flow anytime soon? Because if you're telling me that the 6 launches are going to generate $380 million, that's revenue. That's not free cash flow. And then this other stuff, like how are they going to get to a point where they're doing billions in revenue and get to a 15 or 20% free cash flow margin?
I don't have an answer for that, but I think eventually we'll have to see their execution to get there. It has run a lot, though. That's what I'll agree with Steve. It's up a lot. It's hard to buy it here after $4 to $25, right?
Yeah, it's not cheap on today's basis for sure. I would understand that, and but next year they'll be doing $600 million in revenue, if not more. Or this year, I guess we'll do $600 million more. Next year it'll be close to 850 to 900 million. 2027 will easily be over $1 billion. By the time you get to 2029, I'm anticipating we're going to be close to $1.5 billion to $2 billion. So I know it's not the numbers that Steve wants.
No, but which is great. But you're thinking about how long it's going to take to get there and what their profit's going to be and what their EPS is going to be. I think there's other places to put money.
That's fair. I mean, there's always other places to put money.
Always other places to put money, Steven. I think you're talking about to be able to replicate a business like this. You've seen people enter the market with $5 to $10 billion and fail. These guys were actually accomplishing it and thriving, and have the second most launched vehicle in the Western world, third most launched vehicle in the world. And to me, that's almost priceless. It's almost irreplaceable. You could give someone $30 billion and they still might not be able to make a company last with the capability and things that they put together.
Matt, do you think?
but
Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
just because you can do that doesn't mean that you can continue to do that and turn a profit. Two different things.
Profitability, Steve, and you don't have to believe me or not, but within the first half of 2026, they will be profitable.
Okay.
Well, they're guiding for the end of the year profitability, right?
They are, yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
giving them an additional 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
They said 2 quarters after they do the Neutron launch, because basically they have to they're fronting the initial launch, which will probably cost them 20 to 30 million on top of all the R&D. And then after that, they have a lot of R&D expenses go away. And that's been a drag of about 30 to 50 million dollars a quarter.
Let's just say, Matt, I relate to you at a level that you don't even understand, because Steven and I were having the same conversation when Hood was $7, and I said, Steve, I think there's something here. He doesn't listen to his friends. Ever.
I would rather buy Hood at $7 than Rocket Lab at $5.
What type of statement is that? What? What is like?
It's okay. I've been through.
I'm just saying, Steve doesn't listen to us. He doesn't listen to his friends. That's all.
No, I get it. I didn't listen to either of you on those. I'm just saying, if I had to pick one of the two, at least Robinhood has a business model I can understand and I can see growing over Rocket Labs, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I had the same pushback with Palantir. I had the same pushback with a lot of companies. So
Matt Money's like, motherfucker, I'm gonna be right in 2 years, and you're gonna be upset.
I hope so. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. For everybody that's invested in it, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I don't blame Steve. You can't invest in every company.
Okay, so
same way everybody can't invest in XRP.
That is correct. Guys, we have Starship in about 20 minutes. So, Matt, I'm sure you want to watch that with me, so we can watch that live in 20 minutes.
Sure.
But until then, we can keep talking stocks.